Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KAPTENTALK 2.0 Student Edition. Okay, you guys like
Student edition.
All right. So first off, all of us would like to express our utmost gratitude for joining us today, this morning. I know that during this MCO, it must be especially difficult untuk korang nak bangun awal. But congrats you guys, because no pain, no gain, right? All right. So before we start, just a brief introduction into hari ni punya webinar. Okay, first of all, actually, the one who inspired this whole idea was my mom, who's from a company called Unionworks, and they're working, they're sebenarnya tengah buat an app called Notice Space, and like the app is actually for students to help share ideas and videos or berteminda whatsoever. It'll be launching next month, alright? And so all 5 of us gathered to help my mom as well, to like kick off her app. But at the same time, during MCO ni, we thought we wanted to contribute, now, sumbang balik to all our other juniors who will be sitting for SPM or any sort of exams by giving you guys any sort of tips yang kita orang pernah lalui before this. Okay? Alright. So about this webinar, we'll be doing it in both Malay and English. Rojak lah kan, senang kata. But if you guys don't understand, just say in the chats and we can read if you guys don't understand. Okay? Later, we'll be talking more on study tips, effective ways to menghafal, or maybe some kata-kata nasihat from all of you. Okay? I'm Meisha, and I'll be moderating the session. So how kita orang kejalankan benda ni is I have some prepared questions for my friends here, and I'll be asking them the questions for 40 minutes. Okay? And then you guys boleh tanya your own soalan in the Q&A box dekat bawah tu. Okay? So if you guys have any soalan, jangan malu untuk tanya. We'll jawab anything yang relatable. Okay? Alright. So, I guess before we start, maybe let's have an introduction into all the panelists. Okay? Anyone want to start first? Luqman, maybe?
Hello guys. Hello everybody watching. My name is Luqman. I hope everyone is fine and healthy in their homes. If you're not, please get proper treatment. To those who are watching, once again, thank you for joining us today. We're all very glad to be here and share our experiences with you guys, whatever we can help. And please take our sharing with a grain of salt, because SPM is an individual experience. So take what's good and find what best suits yourself eventually. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Lau, you want to start introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Yean, and thank you all for joining us here today. It's a really great pleasure to see you all. No, I can't see you all. To be with you all today. So hopefully you guys would learn something from this session and enjoy yourselves, okay?
Saiful?
Hello, my name is Saiful Azhar. You can call me Azhar. I'm very happy to help you guys for your SPM or whatever examination. So feel free to ask any questions to any of the panelists, because everyone here is super smart.
Okay, Hannah?
All right. Hi everyone. My name is Puteri Yasmin. But you guys can call me Hannah in short. And thank you so much for being here, actually viewing us. We have friends, our juniors, and people we know. We hope that this session is really beneficial for you guys, and that you guys can take a bit tips and tricks from us, and hopefully you guys can achieve what we've achieved as well.
Alright, thanks guys. Alright, so back to me. Hi guys, my name is Meisha Nurallyssa Muhammad Luqman. I'm the moderator for today. You guys can call me Meisha. Yeah, sure, whatever. Again, like all my friends, I would like to say thank you for joining us, and hope that whatever we say, don't take it ratus-ratus. Let's think about it first and use it properly. Alright, so have fun during the session. Okay. Alright, so my first question for all of you, but before that, can you guys actually tell the audience which school you guys are from, what stream, etc., etc. A brief explanation about your experience in high school. That'll be great for all of us. Okay. So Lau, you want to start first?
Hi everyone, my name is Yean, and I'm from Kolej Yayasan Saad. So I took pure science stream, but I took an extra subject, which was account. and I'm pretty sure some of you are doing that too. So yeah.
Azhar, want to continue?
I'm from Kolej Yayasan Saad, hashtag Hala Kaiser. I took science stream in KOS and also additional of principal of accounts, principal accountant.
Luqman?
Hello guys, I'm from the Malay College Kuala Kangsar. I took pure science in my SPM years. My favorite subject is biology. Most hated subject is English. And the hardest subject is also English.
Okay, Hannah?
I am a recent graduate from Kolej Yayasan Saad. There I took 10 subjects under my stream sub-science, where I didn't take biology. Instead, I took economics and principles of accounting as an extra subject. Favorite subject would be actually at maths and principle of accounting. Worst subject is like Luqman, English.
So from my part, my experience is that I'm also from Kolej Yayasan Saad Melaka, same batch as them, 2019. I'm not like any of them. I'm actually from the business stream or the art stream. And my additional subject was geography. So I took accounts, econs, maths, and geography. Yeah, pasal satu guys. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's move on to the very first question. So do you guys have any useful tips that you like to share to our viewers? Right? We start with Hannah.
Okay, so I think one tip is that, you know how we're supposed to like work smart and not work hard, and same goes to like quality over quantity. But you know, that's just like the basic tip for everything. And what I'm going to tell you is basically what makes that quality and not quantity, and basically what makes you work smart is, I believe, it comes from your sincerity to actually learn. Where if you open a book, you have to feel like you want to be there to read the book. And if you want to answer a question, you open like your exercise in this book, you actually have to want to answer that. You can't feel so forced, like, okay, you can't feel forced to study because betul lah when people say ilmu tak akan masuk. So if like for you, you don't have the courage to do it for yourself, like I didn't, like personally I didn't have it last year to do it for myself. Just look around you and just like do it for your teachers, for your parents. From there you will be actually sincere and want to study. So yeah, my tip is be sincere when you want to study.
That's really nice. All right, Lau?
For me, I think one of the things that can give you motivation to study, like what Hannah said, you need to have that motivation first, is actually putting up your timetable, your exam timetable, somewhere visible in your room so that you can actually see it. So that it's like lagi senang lah untuk dapat motivation, and you can actually plan your study based on your timetable, which is actually really useful because not only everyone can see it and you'll be reminded of it every day. You have everything set in store, and you can like and which one to do first and prioritize the more important things and the subjects that you're weaker at. And another thing that's really good to have written up on walls is like your goals and your achievements that you want to achieve, because those things can help motivate you.
All right, Saiful?
So apa yang I buat was an important tip is dekat-dekat dengan SPM, you have to do a lot of trial papers. So I had my cikgu at maths bagi a lot of trial papers from different states. Banyak lah kertas percubaan we did. So I rasa benda tu like very important sebab a lot of the trial papers, what comes out in trials comes out for SPM. Memang dia memang dah spot dah during the trials. So a lot yang dalam trials came out untuk SPM. So untuk people doing SPM for this year, make sure to buat the kertas percubaan from all the states, all the SDPs, and even past year SPM. Sebab I ingat my sejarah teacher, we ulun kertas satu for sejarah, and almost all of the questions dah memang keluar in past year SPM punya paper. So my advice to you is memang make sure you do it kertas percubaan and past year papers.
Okay, right. Thank you, Luqman.
Okay, I have 2 tips to share. Tapi I tak nak bagi tips spesifik sangat sebab every individual has their own technique, right? Macam ada orang tak boleh study kalau dengar music berlirik. But personally, I love listening to lyrical music when I study. So, I nak share tips-tips yang very general tapi boleh apply untuk perform better. The first is to obviously study early. Kalau masuk form 4, ada yang cakap honeymoon year, ada yang cakap bukan honeymoon year, abaikan, memang kena start belajar. Tapi I bukan nak suruh korang hardcore terus hatam buku form 5 waktu form 4. Tapi understand the basic concepts because your form 5 is the building blocks to the base waktu form 4. Kalau tak faham the basic concepts, terus tanya cikgu. Jangan tangguhkan, settle the things in class. The second thing is to always reflect yourself. Like every other journey, SPM is a journey that requires proper planning. Everyone you see in front of here is not just very smart people, but they are awesome planners as well. So you need to find your own strength and weaknesses, work around it. Ada orang macam Lau, macam other people, they try to make a jadual and that helps for them. But like, you don't necessarily need a jadual. What you need to do is that kena identify, kena kenal pasti subjek yang lemah, subjek yang kuat, and we have limited time. So work yourself around your strengths and weaknesses. That's all.
Okay, right, thank you all of you. Maybe just for me, I just want to personally add is that one thing that really helped for me was sebenarnya ada seorang study buddy. I think one good way to remember concepts is have that study buddy, but at the same time, apa yang korang belajar tu korang explain balik to that friend. Because kalau korang perasan, mesti like you guys pelik, how can, macam mana cikgu boleh ajar even without textbook? Because they teach other people banyak-banyak kali, so they will automatically remember. So that's exactly apa yang I buat. I found a friend, tak kisahlah dia nak dengar I cakap ke tak, I just told that person, explain over and over the same concepts. So jadi masa kat paper tu, I boleh jawab exactly like how I explain to other people, right? So I hope that helped you guys. Okay. One common question that ramai orang tanya was that korang semua very impressive, Coco wise, right? So nak tanya, you guys explain more about what you guys did. And second, how did you manage your time? Macam mana korang uruskan masa? Okay, maybe we'll start this time with Azhar.
So in school, I active dalam rugby and as well as debate. So banyak kali I wasn't in class sebab I had to go to tournaments, I had the trainings. So memang banyak kali I wasn't in class. Apa yang I buat untuk overcome this problem was before the tournament atau before the training, I akan text my teachers, oh cikgu saya tak boleh datang kelas, so maafkan saya. That's like the first thing I did lah, say sorry semua. And then I also cakap, I tanya lah, oh hari ni akan buat apa. So at least during the tournament, I know what my classmates tengah belajar. And then after I come back from my tournament or my trainings, then I can go to my friends and then do what and ask them what they learn in class. Lepas tu from learning from them during prep time memang tolong lah. So even though I had a bit of a learning gap sebab tak datang kelas, I could cover it sebab I ask tips from my friends yang datang kelas.
Okay, thank you. Lau, you want to answer that?
So masa sekolah, I was active in orchestra as well as I was the president of Interact Club as well. And then, you know, Interact Club, we have a lot of like community project, like volunteering and everything, right? So I think what really helped like balance it all is you have to start early and you have to start planning it early. Because I've been in the orchestra since Form 2, so it's pretty easy for me when I was in Form 5 to juggle it because I've been doing it for 4 years. And to be honest, it actually doesn't take up a lot of your time if you know how to plan it early. You know how to organize your time well. You have time both for practice and time for studying as well. Because you have to learn how to like, when it's nearing your exams, you drop everything, focus on your exam. You know, that's really important.
Okay, thank you. Luqman, debater?
Yes, like Meisha mentioned, I was also involved in my school debating team, like Azhar. So I was kind of busy all year round. We stopped debating around bulan 7, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, what I think is the best way to manage time, besides the tips Azhar and Lau already shared, was that I rasa tak mustahil pun kalau kita nak gabungkan koko and academic tu. Macam, why does it have to be academic and then pause, sambung koko, and then pause, sambung academic balik. Like sometimes there are a lot of instances where we can fuse the two things together. Macam for me specifically, when I learn debate, I always take the time to learn new words to use in my English essay because I'm bad at English, and then find examples and other stuff. So, and it's not impossible for people yang main rugby ke, main basketball to fuse it together. Because I have tons of friends on the way pergi tournament rugby, they find a study buddy and then baca buku sejarah together. When it's time for rugby or basketball, they play. But then they always try and find time to selitkan juga the academic part of it to their co-curricular journey. Yeah.
Right, Hannah, you're a Queen Guide, right?
Yes, like Meisha said, during school years, one of my greatest achievements was, okay, I'll talk India. Saya telah dianugerahkan the Anugerah Pandu Puteri Diraja last year. And Pandu Puteri memang mengambil masa yang banyak lah kan. Kita orang kena buat logbook, pergi camp, semua benda tu lah. But apa yang saya buat last year was, you have to prioritize your time fairly. And okay, sorry for English, but when you know, like for me, Girl Guides is something unlike Luqman. I can't do like studies and also Girl Guides, but I have learned to prioritize. Like, okay, when I know it's Girl Guides time, I'll do Girl Guides and just like finish all the workload. But when it's study time, it's study time. Like for example, in the SBPs and QS, actually we have this prep time at night. So I would use that prep time, although it's just 2 hours, but I'll just grind all the way, put in all my effort to study in that prep time, to know that I have so much other time to do Girl Guides, because Girl Guides has our logbook dates, and also, so you have to do it. You know that you have to do both, so prioritize your time. That's advice. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. All right, nak tanya, korang ada any daily routine tak that you guys did masa dekat sekolah dulu? Meaning, it doesn't matter, maybe amalan, solat, whatever, or you guys exercise, or you guys have like waking up certain times. Yeah. Maybe this time we'll start with Luqman.
Okay, for the question of the daily routine, I am not going to enforce the very specific things, nak bangun pukul berapa, nak tidur pukul berapa. So that goes by common sense. Wake up when you should and sleep early. Some important tips that I have when I'm studying is find your sweet spot of studying. So semua orang ada masa-masa special dia. Meisha suka bangun pagi, study awal-awal. Some of us here, including myself, I find the waktu prep malam tu is the best time to study. Kalau siapa-siapa yang tak duduk asrama, prep tu macam waktu lepas maghrib. Around that time, ada 2-3 jam kita boleh spend untuk study elok-elok. So waktu you find your sweet spot and identify your sweet spot, just block semua distraction. Letak phone airplane mode, computer letak jauh-jauh, and then focus on your sweet spot. Other than that, I think staying focused in class is a very, very important tool. If you don't focus in class, you already failed the first step, because that's the only time the teacher can interact with you and you can directly absorb knowledge from the teacher. Other than that, that's all.
All right, thank you. Lau, you want to go next?
Adding on to Luqman, yes, focusing in class is actually really, really important. Because for me, most of my friends would say I don't study, which is actually not true at all. I really, really study between classes. I really, really focus in class, because focusing in class is like the key step to actually scoring well, because that is when your teachers can impart their knowledge on you. That's when you can ask questions. That's when you can hear out all your doubts, right? But what you should do then is after your class, you korang nak ajar kan, so you have to like review what you've learned and then like mark down what you need to recap at the end of the day, so you can actually remember, because recapping it, like what you've studied before at the end of the day, will actually help you remember it better, because like, later when you want to study, even though you don't really remember what exactly it is, you already know the concepts and you already know like the idea of how is it supposed to go. And that really, really helps. So you won't be really, really lost when you're trying to study again at night.
Okay, thank you, Lau. So that was about recapping, right? So kita ulas kembali lah, right? Apa yang kita dah belajar tadi. Okay, so next one maybe to Azhar.
So the question was about routine. Jadi usually I bangun pagi quite awal, around like 5:45, and then after subuh breakfast, I can pergi to my classroom and then pergi buat subjects yang involve calculation. So usually buat maths or something like 1 or 2 questions in the morning just to buat my brain fired up for the rest of the day. And then during school belajar macam biasa, sit in class, focus in class. Lepas tu after lunch usually I agihkan some masa to do some homework yang from that day or days before. So during petang around 4 until 5, I'll like dedicate my time to do homework. Lepas tu after 5 o'clock, I'll go down for sports just like biasa. Make sure I'm not too tired. So during sports, memang kena do something, but then don't do it excessively, especially bila dekat-dekat dengan exams. And then masa prep malam, I would do reading subjects. So macam biology or sejarah, that's when I do it like masa malam. And then after that, after prep malam, go to sleep like normal, kind of early, around 11 o'clock.
Okay, Hana?
Alright, so since the other 3 panelists have touched on really in-depth and applicable study tips, I'm gonna touch on the routine that adds to this study tips, okay? So one thing I know that you have to do, especially those boarding school students, I know it's hard for you to wake up, but please go have your breakfast. I can't express enough how important this is. Like, I can't tell you how does it benefit, but it does benefit you in the long run. Like, I remember there was this one day, I didn't go for breakfast because I woke up late. Then my sejarah teacher, he was like, dia tanya lah, kamu ni kenapa? Because I looked like I wasn't focused in class. So then he figured out that I didn't took my breakfast that day. So he just gave me a cookie and then I felt refreshed. So please take your breakfast, okay? And number 2 is Meisha mentioned about your prayers and salah. Yes, please pray. No doubt, no doubt. Just pray, okay? But one thing you can do, I saw this on Twitter actually last year, is to amalkan the Surah Al-Inshirah, which is Surah Al-Nashrah for Muslims after every salat, because it's about Allah giving you the ease in hardship, where, okay, I'll read you one of the meanings where undoubtedly along with the hardship there is ease. So after I started practicing this very surah, I believe it gave me changes and I started seeing like ease in all the hardships I went through last year. So yes, Surah Al-Inshirah, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Maybe one thing I want to add, a few things maybe, is that when I was in Form 5, I started to delete all my social media apps, like Instagram, Snapchat, except WhatsApp and Telegram, things that I needed to use for studying, because those things really did divert me from focusing. Even though I'm studying, there's like, obviously bila you bosan, you rasa macam nak tengok phone. But when I don't have those apps, I langsung tak ada benda nak tengok. So in the end, I terpaksa buat balik my stuff, my studying stuff. So I recommend you guys to clean out all your social media apps, yeah. And one other thing I did was the same thing like Saiful. I actually bangun pukul 5, and then every morning I akan solat tahajud, and then after that I will study I won't read nanti buat I mengantuk. So like him, I'll do some exercises macam maths or buat latihan accounts, something that can like drive my brain, and then di sekolah pukul 7. And I always go breakfast, also like Hana. So you can see that all of us practically almost do the same thing. However, some of us wake up early. Macam I cannot sleep late. I maximum pukul 12, I dah tidur. Sebab kalau tak dalam kelas, my brain tak jalan. Yeah, so you should ask yourself first, korang jenis yang boleh study malam atau study pagi? So for me, better off I bangun awal. Some of my friends macam Lau or Hana, they normally stay up late, but they can still do well. So yeah, right? Okay, so my next question for all the panelists would be, you guys have any tips untuk menghafal nota atau any information untuk exam? Okay. Anyone want to answer? Now?
Okay, so for memorizing, I think the really important thing is you have to know what type of studier you are first. For me, I'm a read and write person. So normally I would read what my teacher has taught us. I read the notes and then I'll rewrite it in my own words and make it like really big and really attractive so that I can remember the diagrams and all. Because that would be really helpful for you to remember. And for like subjects like sejarah, I'm pretty sure those subjects are pretty hard to memorize and stuff like that, right? Especially like a specific date. I think the key part of it is like you have to extract the important parts, the keywords, and you build those out. So you pull those out so you can actually like build it from there. And it really helps to like build it from those keywords because you already know how it's supposed to go. So you just need to elaborate more and look for more points. Because kadang kan banyak soalan kebat kan. So ya hafal sangat fakta tu, kena tahu je macam mana nak guna fakta tu dalam soalan. Yeah.
Right, okay, thank you. All right, Saiful?
Memorizing. So I jenis yang practical. So SPM is an examination. So jadi there's a perfect answer scheme for the examination. So for bio there's a perfect answer. For chemistry there's a perfect answer. So memang what I did was I ambil buku trials. There's this book just filled with trial questions, and then I hafal the answer scheme. Because I think kalau you know all the information tapi you don't know how the answer scheme is like, then it's going to be really hard. So jadi what I did was memang memorize what was in the answer scheme, so that masa I jawab other questions, I can replicate what I memorized from the answer scheme. And answer scheme is way more easier to memorize sebab it's usually the points kat dalam the information. So it's different from apa you baca dalam buku. So kalau I'm going to do an exam, I go through past year books and then tengok the answer scheme and then answer the question. Tengok the answer scheme, answer the question. Memang I'm more of a practical kind of person.
Okay, thank you. Luqman?
For me, I'll add on to Lau. The first thing you need to do is identify what type of person you are in memorizing. So I'm just going to give a very similar to all my past tips, a very general tip that everyone can use, specifically for subjects that aren't that practical, like biology, agama, sejarah. Because if you do a lot of exercise, naturally you memorize the answers. And if you want to be like super extreme, super hardcore, studious like Azhar, that will make you a better student eventually. But tip yang I nak share this time is to always continuously read. I have a lot of friends at school and a lot of friends out of my school yang I tahu buku sejarah, textbook SPM tu dia tak habis baca pun. Macam dia tak pernah baca daripada start dia sampai habis. And then they expect nak hafal and be ready for SPM. The way our brain works is that it's like neurons linking, you know. So kalau kita dapat satu information, kalau kita tak tahu yang lain pun, at least kita boleh try to link. So macam buku bio, kalau korang pegang yang buku bio Nexus tu, do you see how thick that is? If you want to memorize every single detail bit by bit, tu mustahil lah kalau korang nak baca, ulang, tulis, it's kind of hard. So what you can do is continuously read. Jadi minda korang nanti akan start to hafal the pattern. So kalau kita tak ingat pun maklumat pasal B, tapi kalau kita selalu baca, tahu pasal A, dia akan menghubungkan satu maklumat ke satu maklumat lain. Faham tak? Faham tak? Tak apa lah. Kalau tak faham, korang try dulu.
Faham lah, ya Allah.
Allah, dia akan jadi.
Alright, thank you. Hana?
Okay, so like my previous question, I'm also going to touch about my sejarah teacher. His name is actually Mr. Rama. Credits to you, Mr. Rama. But this is like something he asked the whole batch to do. This one works for sejarah actually, works for me. Okay, you've read, okay, you have to read no matter what. But when you open, you start doing questions and you see the keyword. What you have to do is you have to circle that keyword and write down everything you know about keyword. Because you will have to recheck your exam paper and all your tests and all. So you will be bound to see what you wrote there. So that helps you into memorizing and it just inputs that in your brain. So the next time you see that same keyword, you know what's that keyword about. You actually understand about it, so because you've written about it. Yes.
Right, thank you guys. Mine is sort of like Laos. I did notes, but at the same time, I did what Azhar and Luqman did as well, exercises and notes. But my notes weren't long, really long notes. Tapi nota I jenis yang flashcards. So I bet korang yang KYS semua can like see me like with my little notes. Everywhere I go, kalau I bosan, I can buka those little notes and just read it anywhere. So that means that I've read the textbook, I dah baca textbook, and then I tulis my own flashcards dalam cara yang I faham. Because some things like sejarah, bukan nak ingat hafal kata per kata. So I just remember, Suruhanjaya read buat ni. So when I read for my flashcard, benda simple, direct. And I boleh baca anywhere. So tengah tunggu bus ke Uber ke apa ke, baca ke something like that. Right, so that was helpful for me. Okay, so one last question before we move on to answer soalan-soalan from Q&A session. Okay, to all the panelists, do you guys have any specific challenges that you faced? And maybe korang boleh share dengan all of us, how did you overcome it? Because maybe some of us will relate dengan korang cabaran. Okay, so give you guys some time. Who wants to answer first? Up to you guys.
Okay, I'll just go. Okay, I'll talk about the SPM season itself, or same goes to any other exam season like your mid-year trials. It's the fact that this exam season is no doubt, it's a toy of emotion where you'll be stressed and then everything outside besides the exam will affect you in so many ways. Like you'll just start crying if like something doesn't go right, like suddenly you got to eat something you don't like, you don't want to eat it. You just have to embrace the fact that your emotions are not stable, and thus you just have to feel like, okay, just take a deep breath and you have to move on. Just keep your head held high up, and the exam season will come true. You know, there will always be these challenges during the exam season and you'll be so stressed about it, but just istighfar banyak, just like take a bit, just look around you and just like, there's so many other things you have to do, especially the exam. Just make sure, again, prioritize your exam at all costs. Don't let these things bother you. And if they do, talk it out, talk it through with a friend, and then continue.
Okay, that's great. All right, anyone else?
I love to share a challenge that I faced. So similarly, to Hannah, I was also very emotional throughout that year, not just during the season. I got worried what's going to happen in the future. What if I don't get a good result? What if my parents have to pay for my education fully? So the challenge was, at one point I contemplated of dropping everything. Kat MCKK, pengawas akan dapat satu bilik, special lah bilik. So waktu masuk dalam bilik tu, I macam, you know what, I nak quit debate, tak nak turun futsal, tak nak turun main sports lah, nak duduk situ berkabung, what's the word? Berkabung 24/7. I just want to study forever kat situ sebab nak SPM straight A+. But then I sedar kalau kita kekalkan that pattern, when we just stick to that, we don't become a person tau. We don't become a productive human being. We just become a study machine. Yang orang cakap kita study macam robot tu, this is the exact example. Wanting to stay in your room, just study. I cabarlah all the viewers out there, cari orang yang academically berjaya, yang memang kerja dia orang hadam buku, baca buku je. Everyone who is successful academically, memang dia orang ada a wholeness to them. Rugby, orchestra, pandu puteri. Because being good in SPM is also equated to being good in balancing your time, managing your priorities and everything else. So bila ada some people out there yang rasa macam, you know what, I'm just gonna quit everything, focus on my exams. Remember that life is also about having fun. SPM is also a fun and interesting journey. So always be happy and stress-free. Yean.
Okay. I guess for me, a challenge was definitely being emotionally stable. Sebab memang once dekat-dekat dengan SPM, tiba-tiba assessment you don't perform. Memang you're gonna cry, you're gonna be like, oh, memang tak ready for SPM. I'm not gonna get straight A's, I'm not gonna get straight A plus. Memang once something lets you down, terus you akan terus like memang murung gila lah. So what's important masa how I overcame this challenge sebab my friends around me. Memang my classmates, they were really supportive. Lepas tu kalau during break time memang we hang out with each other. We make sure we makan ice cream together. So it was a time that you let go of all this emotional stress and remember that you have friends around you. You have people who will support you. So don't worry if sometimes you're down because of an assessment or you're down sebab you don't understand something in class. You have your friends and they will help you. Sebab I remember kalau I tak faham something in class, then kat the dorm, then my friend will help explain it to me again. So memang you have to remember you have friends around you.
Alright, that's great. Okay, Lau?
So like for me, like the other panelists all touched on like emotional stress and everything. For me, I would like to touch on like unexpected things that happen during the SPM season. So one of the really unexpected things that happened to me during the SPM season was actually I got admitted in a hospital. I think it was like 1 week before SPM, and that really like disrupted my study flow and everything. And it was really difficult because I actually missed the whole camp seminar because of it. And I think that would really demotivate you. That would make you feel like, oh crap, I'm going to have to give up. What am I going to do? Yada, yada, yada. And then like you feel really stressed and you don't know what you're going to do with all this time that you've lost just because of something unexpected that you didn't even see is going to happen. And I think during that phase, what you really need to do when you feel like that is firstly, you don't give up. It's not the end of the world yet. You only lost a few days. You've been working for this for the past 2 years. Takkan like you want to give it up just because of that 1 week of time that you lost. And secondly, you have to really rely on those around you. Those around you really help you. Like for me, my friends who knew I wasn't going to come to class, they really helped like collect notes for me and help like catch me up to speed on where we were in class. And that really, really was helpful because if you're lost, you're going to be lost. And if you're scared to ask for help, that's just going to make matters worse. So you have to be confident. You have to be like brave enough to ask for help from those around you, from your friends, even though you feel like macam malu ke apa je. Jangan rasa malu. It's like you have to do it for yourself. Okay? That's all. Thank you.
Alright, thanks guys. Maybe for me, like all of you guys, challenges I've somewhat the same. Emotionally or tak ada semangat whatsoever or having outside factors. I think the best thing is to have a good mindset. You know? Like even to the greatest achievers, you know, biarlah siapa paling pandai or the best debater or the best rugby player, there's always going to be failure somewhere. However, that doesn't define who you are. So always remember that everything happens for a good reason. So for example, na'udzubillah, one of us gets hit by a truck. That doesn't necessarily mean it always have to look at it in a bad way. That's a bad example. I'm so sorry. You don't have to look at it in a bad way. Take it positively. Sama juga if, for example, you've been doing well, tiba-tiba trials dapat B or whatever, kan? Obviously, akan meraung dulu, that's normal. But then you think of it as a way that, you know, maybe it's a sign that maybe I'm overconfident or maybe I wasn't focused enough or there was something else that was wrong around me that affected my studies. So it's always a sign it's always good to tengok benda on the positive side. Alright? And also again on the friends, yeah, I pernah je rasa very tak bersemangat nak study. But a good way is to have your friends to lighten you up. But bukan macam have kawan and then have fun tapi terus tak ingat study. No. Again, something like what Luqman said is you can merge both of them. Because me and my friends, when we were like, oh, kita orang kena study though, tapi malas nak mampus kan. So what we would do is that we would pasang lagu kuat-kuat and then we would do at mats while singing. So at the same time, we're having fun, but we're doing at mats. So benda tu jadi seronok lah. So every time I rasa nak buat advance, I ajak my friend. So kita jadi pandai at the same time, you know, jadi lah, have fun and stuff. Okay, so again, from me, mindset and look at everything from the bright side. Okay. All right, so I guess that 11:40. Maybe can you guys give us a few minutes and then we'll filter through some questions to ask? Okay, ciao. All right, I'll ask the panelists. There's this one question by an anonymous viewer. You guys can see too, right? The soalan.
Yeah.
Should we trust the tips given from other schools? I assume ni macam, spot soalan keluar. Yeah. So, okay, what do you guys think? Any of you?
So I think based on our experience for sejarah, there was this one spot that everyone said, oh, it's gonna come out, and then last in the paper, that thing didn't come out, and something really unexpected came out. So all of us were like, oh man, what are we gonna do? We didn't know what to do. So last, a lot of us like hentam lah for that specific question. And so what I think is it's good to take note of the tips, but don't neglect everything else. You have to, like masa SPM, you already have to know everything masa tu. So what I did personally was the tips that other schools gave, or like dekat social media, on Twitter semua. What I personally did was memang I baca balik the tips, but I didn't completely forget everything else. So during SPM, you should already know everything by then.
True. All right. Lau, you say you want to answer it?
I think, the tips that your teachers give you is actually like the questions that they have filtered through and they've like went through all the past years, and then they assume that it hasn't come out for a long time and it's probably going to come out this year, that sort of thing, right? I think you should actually take it with a grain of salt, because not everything they say is actually going to come out, and there's so much content that they can put in like one exam, and takkanlah they spot semua akan keluar. And it's like, for example, like BM last year, everybody didn't expect Mereka to come out, and there were only two poems left, like yang tak keluar lagi, and everybody didn't expect Mereka to come out, and then last keluar tanya tema, and then everybody macam kelam kabut because like we really didn't expect that.
4 marks.
4 marks, that's a lot. So what you've heard, what you've seen, what they say, don't take it to heart. Make sure you study other things as well, because it's important to not only focus on what they give you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next question. Okay. I think this is for all of you guys. This question isn't for me. What are your learning strategies for science subjects?
Luqman, you're good at bio and chemistry. Right?
You can answer which science subject.
All the 3 sciences are not that similar to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very different.
Okay, so you guys want to answer specifically, or maybe you will answer that personally.
I'll take bio lah. Bio.
I'll take physics.
I'll take chem.
I will not take anything.
Okay, so we start with biology, okay? Biology is the study of life. Gitu. So, I think biology, as people say, a lot of people say it's a memorizing science, right? Baca buku, eventually you'll get to jawab. Tapi the reason why some people fail in biology is because they memorize but they don't understand. It's also the failure for a lot of other subjects as well. Cara I hafal biology and make biology interesting is that you have to know by the time you finish studying Form 4 and Form 5, you know how the human body works. Cuma mungkin flaw dalam buku teks kita atau buku rujukan kita tu, dia tak susun dalam cara yang elok. Awal-awal bab ni, tiba-tiba masuk bab pencernaan. Tapi kalau korang tengok betul-betul, it's just like explaining how the human body works. And plants and animals also. So the way I did it, which you guys can try, is try to put everything into context. Gabungkan semua fakta-fakta tu, nanti korang akan dapat a clear picture of how the body works. Memorizing is of course important. There's tons of information in bio. But if you put yourself into perspective and try to understand what you are memorizing, inshallah you'll get the better picture and memorize better.
All right, Hannah?
Okay. So I'm talking about physics. And earlier Form 4, I dreaded physics because I couldn't do it. I was like, what is inertia and all? I couldn't even think like, how is it so simple, but I can't get it. Okay. But I still remember it all started because my physics teacher, he was Mr. Teo. He just straight up went to me after an exam. He was like, I know you can do physics. I was like, I just stared at him for a straight 5 minutes. Like, he has so much faith in me to do physics, and I couldn't even, like, I asked him why, but he didn't answer. He just said that. So I guess one thing that I've done ever since then is that physics is, okay, and like Luqman said, biology is the study of life, but physics is the study of life occurrences. Like everything around you is physics. Like Mr. Teo would just point out anything in life and he'll just say like, oh, that's physics, that's physics, that's physics, that's physics, everything is physics, and that's true. So I guess one thing about physics is first, embrace physics around you. Like, okay, you see leaves falling, okay, that's gravity, physics. And then you see calculations. Make sure you know your, what do you call it? Your calculations well. And make sure, it will be hard, no doubt. Like physics is, it'll just make you think. And that's about it, you know, think about it, know your calculations well, and embrace the fact that physics is all around you. And I guess one more tip that I can add for physics is that I'll always have this papers around me that I bring everywhere. It's about physics. Like, okay, contoh, like you're talking about electromagnetism, you have to remember about Lenz's law and Faraday's law. I'll always refer back to the paper, because physics, the thing about science is that it's already there. You can't like continue thinking about it. Like, because it's already there. It's not like maths where there's so many other solutions. Physics is straight up there, and you refer back to your book, and that's totally fine because that's science for you.
All right, thank you. Right, Lau, you want to talk
For
about chem?
chemistry, yeah, for chemistry, I'm pretty sure you guys find it really hard to score for chemistry because you guys would miss the keywords and stuff like that, right? I think for chemistry, the most important part about chemistry is actually having mind maps, because you have a lot of experiments and most questions will ask you what are those outcomes of those experiments, and it's really hard to remember it, especially like when you jumpa an experiment you pernah jumpa in any of your books, in any of the trial papers that you do, and you don't know how to answer it. So I think the best way to overcome that sort of thing is like when you learn an experiment in school and you start buat nota untuk eksperimen tu, make sure macam ada macam mind map, the flow of how it's supposed to go. So, and if you look at it, most of like the same groups would react to the same metal in the same way, just like slightly different, or like the color is different. Because that color difference, that difference that you see between each metal, between each type of material, those are things that you should look out for, and those are things that you should remember, because those different parts are those that normally the questions will ask you about. And one tip I have about studying chemistry is you kena start awal. Memang kena start awal. And you kena ada nota. Buku nota tu you bawa lah pergi mana-mana. Janji baca. Because it's a lot, and you have to hafal a lot, and you have to remember all that amount. So it's actually, you have to really, really start early. And another thing is like when they ask you to plan experiments and all, let's say you don't remember one way of getting something, there's actually many, many other ways that you can use as well. So don't limit yourself to just one path and one way of like testing a cation, one way of testing a substance. Don't limit yourself just because your teacher taught you to use that method. Because once you forget like one word, or you forget like one step, you're gonna forget the whole thing, and then you're gonna like rasa macam worried lah. And then after that, dalam kabut you don't know how to do, and then last you tak dapat any markah, and that's really, really sad. So, yeah.
All right, thanks guys. So the next question is actually about homework. Maybe the question was, can homework be considered somewhat studying, you guys?
Definitely.
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 Because one, it helps you memorize what you learn in class, and number two, it actually prepares you for exam questions as well. So if you have homework, don't tangguhkan, try to finish it that day as well.
Right. I think I would agree with Azhar. For me, when a teacher gives me homework, I take it as a part of my revision. So, bila korang buat homework, make sure jangan buat sambil lewa. Like korang take it as sekadar nak siap. No, actually, use it as another opportunity to do more exercise. Because honestly, my best advice to all of you guys is trust your teachers. As much as you guys rasa macam, oh, ni tak betul, no. Trust your teachers. They're much more experienced than you are. So whatever homework they give you, it's practically for a reason. Maybe korang rasa, what is this worksheet ni, merepek sangat ni. Just do it. Last mana you tahu masuk SPM? So yeah, the question is homework study? Of course. Okay. The next question is, when did each of you start studying? I see when you guys get serious. I think the question is about when did you guys get started getting serious?
I think I always wanted to like get straight A plus for SPM. So from Form 4, I memang dah start getting serious already. But it might be different for you guys. So maybe you can answer that question.
I think for this one, what I had this, bukan kata formula lah, but I normally had this plan that I normally had. When it wasn't study season, I would just continuously study the topics yang cikgu tengah go through. So for example, pagi tu, at maths, cakap pasal functions. So I can study functions and just teruskan study lessons like usual. Tapi bila dah start masuk the 2-week mark, 2 minggu before exam, I would start drilling on exercises or trial papers. Nak get me more warmed up to the exam format. So dia bukan, so by those 2 weeks, I dah kena faham everything dah. Cikgu dah ajar before that. Those 2 weeks are no more about, oh, I baru nak tergigi nak belajar how to do functions. No, it's about sharpening your skills and identifying your weaknesses. And this is for all of you guys, remember, karangan and SE English, never forget it. Always continuously do it. Jangan sampai a day before korang nak hafal isi and read on the internet. No, you guys should continuously do it. So masa exam, timing perfect and korang punya cara tulis tu cantik. Yeah. You guys want to add on to that part? No?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Said most of it already.
So the next question is about maths. How did we score in maths?
I think the thing about maths is you really need to practice. Actually, any math subject, whether is it maths or maths, you really need the practice. You really need to start doing trial papers because those trial papers will expose you to like the type of questions that will probably come out, the type of questions that will make you use. It isn't straightforward. It isn't like those that you find in your normal books, those that like soalan dia. And it's actually, the concept is really simple. Like the way they ask you is really long, so you get confused and you don't know what to use. And that those questions would be the ones that take up a lot of your time during exams, and you should really practice doing those type of questions so that during exam you can like do it quickly as well.
Alright, great. Anyone else? Panas with maths?
I'll add up for Lau. So we all know the basic tips for maths is understand the concepts, do exercises, and if you don't know, you ask your teachers. And that's really it. Like that's the 3 major steps for maths. There's really no running away from that. But one thing I did realize for maths is that I'm not going to touch on this 3 because I'm sure everyone knows that by now. Is that I'm going to talk about this thing on Twitter when people say confidence is when you use a pen to answer maths. Okay, I'll talk about that, okay? So I personally use a pen, and not because I felt confident. I mean, yes, I would suggest you guys use a pen, but because it was a way for me to learn. When I used a pen, and there will be mistakes, but what I would do when I know I'll have a mistake is that I'll start fresh. Like, this is one paper with all my mistakes and the pen mistakes, but I can't erase it, right? So I'll just start new, start fresh, just look again at the question and start again. Don't do a question and when you know you have a mistake, you want to betulkan all the small mistakes because the small mistakes can lead to large errors. So just start fresh. And number 2 is that all these KBAT questions. Okay, maths is nothing if it isn't KBAT, right? So I would suggest you, if you're facing a really tough KBAT question, you've asked your friends and all, but we've like taken like 1 hour already to finish one question, then I would suggest you to just take a break, stop for a while, and start again. If you can't start again, then just move on, because like personal experience was during the SPM paper itself. Last time the questions that we've gone through, all 5 of us gone through, it's not even the questions you see in the normal success book. None at all. It's like a completely new question. So there's so many other KBAT questions that can come out. You don't have to answer, you don't have to waste all your 3 hours just for one question and still not get it. We just move on and do other questions, because especially the questions that equip you with the basic skills, yeah, especially do on that. But KBAT questions, if you can't do it, just move on.
Great. Okay. So the next question is, okay, what do you think about going to tuition?
Personally, I don't prefer going for tuitions or like seminars or anything. Not because like I can manage without them, but because I'm scared that the way your tuition teacher teaches you clashes with the way your school teacher teaches you. You spend most of your time with your school teachers. So use your school teachers. They're already there and they're supposed to be teaching you. So if you have questions, ask them. Like, I don't see a point of having another teacher come teach you and then have like clashing of knowledge, and then you have that sort of argument going on and you don't know who to follow. So yeah, that's in my opinion lah.
You guys, any of you went to tuition?
I didn't go for tuition, but I think seminars are important, because most schools, when they call seminars, is markers of SPM papers. So these are like really experienced teachers. I'm not saying that tuition teachers are not experienced teachers. I'm just saying that seminar teachers would probably know the best way to score for SPM papers. But I personally didn't go for tuition, and if I didn't understand a topic and my school teacher wasn't available, I would usually ask the smartest person in that subject, because they would know from your teacher. So what they teach you is what your teacher teaches you. So put faith in your friends and your school teacher.
All right, great. Actually, on tuition, this personally for me, my weakest subject was maths. You guys can ask Hannah and Lau. I had a lot of trouble in Form 4. I started with C's and B's in Form 4. Like, this is not kidding. But and I realized that even though I did a lot of latihan, it still was a struggle for me to get to that A. So what I did was, towards the SPM season, I got a really good teacher who came all the way from Kedah to help me, and it really did help me to do maths. So maybe it's not about doing a lot of latihan, but it's actually knowing the cara menjawab or whatsoever. So I recommend, kalau korang nak tuition, only opt for the ones that you are really, really, really weak in. After you've tried everything that you can personally, like ask your teachers, ask your friends. Kalau tak boleh juga, then last is to go to tuition. Alright? Okay.
I want to add up to Meisha actually. So in conclusion for our maths, what really makes the difference in all our maths is teachers. So if your teachers in school, they'll give you inputs. For Meisha, like she works with a tuition teacher, but for me and Azhar, because we have the same MS teacher, Mr. Abu, but he really, so what I'm trying to say is that really trust your teacher, because he knows best or she knows best. And if you really don't know, ask him, because they really want to help you, especially in maths, where they know not all students can do it. So just go up to them and ask until you understand. Have faith in the teacher.
That's great. Okay, the next question is about motivation. Have any of you felt demotivated and have been asked to drop a subject? I've never been there before. I don't know about you guys. However, if you guys were in that situation, what would you do? Would you accept and drop the subject or just continue?
I think I haven't faced that situation before where I have to drop the subject. I'm not sure if the other panelists have as well. But if to answer this question, I want to talk a bit about motivation. Like Hannah said about it in the start, and I cannot stress how important it is. Like sometimes, and dealing with the other part of the question, which involves some of your friends playing a lot, all the questions involving motivation, that just needs to come within you. And every individual has their own approach to motivation. Ada people, ada setengah orang yang memang naturally driven. Macam ada orang tu memang dia sendiri nak belajar, yang minat belajar. Macam I minat belajar, Hana minat belajar. So other people have their own motivations. So the key is not to use one template of motivation. Kita bagi top kat semua orang kan. Macam I'm sure all of you watching pernah kumpul dengan batch, pernah ada batch meeting, macam kita nak berjaya bersama-sama. Kita tak boleh cakap, korang belajar bersungguh-sungguh, because that line doesn't motivate everyone in your batch. So kalau korang dah kenal pasti ada someone yang korang nak motivate, find your way to him. If he really doesn't like learning, then tell him to do it for his parents or to do it for his future. Motivation is not a one key solution. There is no golden key that you insert into someone and then automatically he will become motivated for life. Some people get motivated very late in life. Some people have intense motivation early on. The key is to continuously find it. Semua orang ada, cuma kita kena cari je.
Betul? Alright. Okay, one question from Imran Hakim is, have you guys always scored in every exam since Form 4? Just jawab honestly.
Honestly, yeah, since Form 4, I try to target myself to get 5th in the batch every exam. And it has helped me throughout Form 4 and Form 5 to get like top 5 almost all the time. So I think this self-drive and consistency is important for you to get ready and be confident in answering for SPM.
Alright. Okay. I think this one somewhat the same like Azhar. However, again, I've mentioned I've had trouble with ATMATs before. Like everything's okay, suddenly ATMATs I drop. However, what I want to tell you guys is that even though consistency is important, it doesn't define what happens in SPM. Whatever, every exam that you have, make sure you make it as a motivation. If you guys keep scoring, make sure jadikan benda tu satu motivasi untuk score lagi. Tapi if you guys haven't been doing well, use that as motivation to do well next time. So again, it relates to about your mindset. So whatever results you have, make sure korang always look at it in a positive manner. And about ranking, ranking is somewhat just a way to show who's better than someone else, but it really doesn't matter in the end. Because in your SPM slip, they don't cetak as to how many A's you have. And at the same time, when you're having SPM in your batch, it's not about who's the best. It's about everyone doing it together. So I recommend you guys to have your own target. Not just like, oh, I aim to be first. Because you can be first by having all Fs if everyone else is doing badly as well. So have your own target. Tell yourself, I want to be number 1 in my own head. I want to get these many A's. So you guys takkan demotivated whatsoever from your other friends. Because your target is yourself. Okay? So biarlah someone else gets first, but you are satisfied with your own achievement. So again, about maybe off topic, but yeah, scoring is important consistently. But it isn't everything. Okay. Okay. Mostly about motivation and. Okay, you guys look at the Q&A section. You guys have any questions you guys want to ask?
I think I'll answer the questions regarding English because there are a few people asking about English, and like I said in the earlier, I was actually weak in English because, to be honest with you guys, SPM was my first time getting an A+ in English. Before that, it'll just be a string of A's or A-. So how do you get that A+? Okay, I know one thing that makes a difference is your essay, your style of writing, and how, personally for me, what defined my personal writing skills was reading. Like, I'm not a reader. No cap. Like, I only read 2 series, which is the Shadowhunter series and Harry Potter. But those two series of books were enough for me to generate my own writing skill. And if it were not for the books, I would read like model essays, and not SPM essays, but IGCSE essays, because I also took IGCSE English. And these things are what make me want to write like them, be inspired to write like them. And vocabulary is important. What we all been new to do is either read each other's essays and find out words that you like your friends been using, or have this list of vocabulary words that you find interesting and you know you can use it in your essay. Have that list, always read it, and pass it around with a friend, so you get like double or at more triple the vocabulary words, because what they like may be not what you like. So English and BM literary subjects for me was a group effort, so make that count. Go see your friends, especially for me, like I used to read Meisha's essays, and she's a good writer. So try to model it, and but do it in your own way, so you know it's genuine from your heart.
All right, that's great. Okay, the next question is about how do we find time to study? Any of you?
I think because like we all were in asrama, it was a bit senang lah because we had prep time, memang dedicated untuk study. But for you guys at home, I guess macam after school 3 to 4, if you have tuition, then go for tuition. Tapi kalau kita ada tuition, then masa tu you study. And at night pun, after dinner, after maghrib, then you study. Just sit down in your room, dedicate like 2 hours just to study if you're like from home or in a SMK. So but then I think memang paling penting is during the weekends, because during the weekends our school, they had like weekend prep, so you have to stay in your room, you have to study, but it's not the same for everyone. So I think at least dedicate a few hours during your weekend to revise what you learn during the week. So at least you have that sort of revision every week, and hopefully it will help you towards the end.
Right. Okay, so any of you want to go on about that question? So let's get I think okay, you go first.
Okay, continue, go on.
You go first.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. About the time thing, what I did was like I had a jadwal. So it really did give me enough time. It gave me specific time, so it was easier for me. But at the same time, for example, something comes up, macam kalau ada koko or have some competition, what I always told myself is that you have to make up for the time. I mean, if you like someone, you will make time for them. But this is studying, you have to like it. So you have to make time for studying as well. So macam for me, I suka tidur awal, but then that means that I won't be able to study at night. So I have to make my own time. I have to wake up early and study. Same for you guys. If you guys want to get an A+, tapi nak main phone and I don't know, berjolly on Instagram, then it's not going to work. So you guys have to sacrifice some things in order to berjaya. Like you can ask all of us, we sacrifice a lot of things to get our results. You know, I sacrifice time on my phone. Maybe sometimes balik rumah for weekends. Of course, that is bad not to be like spending time with your family, but you know, you have to do some things. Kat rumah, I kept studying. So that's how I made time. Whatever time I had, I just studied. Okay, yeah. Luqman?
What I had to say had something to do with Meisha also. Like there's this Malay quote, masa itu emas, tapi masa sentiasa ada bagi mereka yang berjaya. Itu. So the point of the quote was essentially, of course, time is limited. We have 24 hours in a day. We can't change that. Like successful people don't manipulate time. But then there is always time for things you want to do. Even if it's like a small amount of time, you can find that time. So the problem with people not having time, I think, what I visualize is mungkin diorang rasa masa tu mesti 1 jam, mesti 2 jam. Lepas ni tak ada masa 2 jam nak study. Study doesn't necessarily need to take like a bulk of your time, 3 or 1 hours. Routine things that you do in your life, macam Meisha pergi DM, dia makan pun bawa flashcard dia, those are actually counted as laboring time into your academics. And I think that's all. Find time, try and find time.
Okay, maybe the last question from the audience. But guys, really don't worry. If you have any more questions, you guys can DM us personally or Google us pula. And email us. You guys can email us. At the end of the session, we'll flash our Instagrams. So don't worry. Okay, we're really sorry that we can't answer all, but we'll go to the last question, which would be about phone and distractions. For me, they even mentioned me tau. So, I deleted my social media apps. What did you guys do to elakkan asyik pakai benda ni je?
Okay, I want to answer this because I'm going to be real honest here. Until SPM, like even during SPM itself, I had a phone addiction. Sometimes if I deleted my apps, tried refraining myself from it. But sometimes there'll just be other things in the phone that you want to do. Like I'll just be scrolling my phone gallery for no reason, baca all WhatsApp messages. Like why?
Wow.
Phone addiction. Okay, but one thing I know really helped for everything, and not just for this, is seriously reach out for help. And especially from your friends. I'll just tell, like, we stayed in apartment rooms, where there'll be 2 of us in a room. So I would tell my roommate, like, about my phone addiction. And then sometimes she'll be studying and I'll be stuck in my phone in the room. And sometimes she'll just come in and check on me, like, what are you doing on your phone? I was like, okay. So your friends really play an important role. Like, for me, she was the reason I stopped using my phone, because she'll just be like, itulah, addicted phone lagi. I was like, okay, I'll stop. So then I'll go study with her. Addiction will come, like, especially in KOS, we're allowed to use our phones. Especially at one time, we'll just be like, you know what, I'm so done with studying, I'm just going to play my phone. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but neither it's right. Because you need those distractions. Those distractions are what make you sane, but you have to learn how to control it. Be it by yourself or with the help of friends, control it as much as you can.
Alright, great. Anyone else about distractions?
So during SPM pun, I have to mengaku, I pun like tengok Netflix. Macam after studying, then baru like I use it as a reward kind of system lah. So after like 1 hour of studying, then 1 episode of Netflix for 20 minutes. So I kind of used it as a reward system. But what I personally did to like make sure I was not too distracted was for my phone wallpaper. I put there Saiful Azhar, 10A plus SPM 2019, inshallah. So that was kind of like to make sure I wasn't distracted. So I would have my goals just like put on my phone right there. So it made sure that I wasn't too distracted or too into Netflix or too into Instagram.
Cool. Anyone else?
I have a slight tip. Like, instead of using your phone as a distraction, distractions aren't necessarily bad. There are sometimes like important also. You can't be studying 24/7. Some people actually spend healthy time with their phone. They use it in between study breaks. Tapi if you guys really have a phone problem, try to substitute a phone with something else, like playing sports or playing a musical instrument, or just like talking to your friends and hanging out. Everything else that doesn't involve technology, those are distractions you can control. If you're, I know people say dealing with phone addiction, the advice is korang control je lah. Tapi it's easier said than done, because when you're locked up in a room with your phone, no one's gonna tell you to stop. So the first step is to just get away from your phone and substitute it with another distraction.
Okay. Lau, do you have anything to answer to that one?
So being honest with you guys as well, I didn't actually like delete all my social media when it was near SPM. In fact, like Azhar, I was using it kind of like a reward system. So like after finishing certain study periods of time, I'll take a break, and that's when I use my phone to watch shows and to like scroll through Instagram or something. But then, to be honest, I think social media isn't a bad thing during this exam season, because you'll have friends that would take picture of themselves studying and then they'll post it on their stories or post it on their like or something, and then you'll feel motivated to study. Like there's this one Twitter account, I don't know whether you guys know it, where he posts like SPM tips like every day. Yeah, you know that account, right? I can't remember what is the username though. It's actually really useful because like even though you're scrolling through social media, you still get to study at the same time. So yeah, don't limit yourself to just getting distracted when you're using social media.
For me, I'm not trying to brag, but I wasn't that hooked to my phone as people. But my biggest distraction were actually people around me. I'm not saying they're bad. I have a bunch of rowdy friends. They're a lot of fun. But the thing is, when I want to study, really my distractions were my friends. However, what I suggest to you guys is get the right crowd of people. I'm not saying, oh, don't be a fake person, but I'm saying like find someone who is always studying, who has a good routine, and try to be close to that person when you guys want to get serious. So I'm always with the right kind of people. I used to be with Hana and Lau and another friend of mine, Nelly. We all studied together because we were all very focused people, so it made things much easier. If you know you're a noisy person, don't be with even noisier people. So bila you guys want to have fun, yeah, sure, lepak with your friends. But bila korang serious, you be serious. That includes putting your phones away. And even the people yang sama-sama fokus, kita akan sama-sama kiasu. It's like an aura that spreads around where everyone is all focused. So that's a really good thing to have, like a great circle of friends. Okay? So I guess that wraps up all the questions that we have today. And after this, we'll have our panelists say a few words of advice and kata-kata semangat for all our adik-adik. And but then before korang ciao, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, MedCard, which is a medical app, Serv, about eating cars, Unionworks, the company my mom's from, Unionworks, special thanks to Kak Nurul, the one behind the scenes, and also Uncle Nade from the lorry for lending us his account. Alright, and for all of your information, all 5 of us are ambassadors of my mom's app, the one I mentioned, Notice Space. Okay, this is going to be really dumb, but yeah, I'll show you. Okay, alright, so this is the app.
Support.
Yeah, support guys. It will be launching next month. So in the app, you guys can share any videos, any ideas or minda or tips for all of us to share. It's kind of like social media, but for studying. Okay, and also, if you guys want to be the first few testers, you guys can log on to uniontech.com. And if you guys become the first testers and register, you guys have a chance to win a Google Mini Home. Like for real, a Google Mini Home. Tak ramai orang ada, so you guys better join the lucky draw. Okay? Okay, so yeah, if you guys want more sessions like this, go on to Notice Space, the Instagram page. They have a page there. Just start it. You guys can totally DM them and say we want more or something like that. Okay. All right. So back to our panelists. Consider this your parting gift to your juniors. Any words of advice and encouragement? Okay. We'll start with Saiful.
Hi everyone watching. So thank you so much for sticking with us for almost 1.5 hours. My last things to say to you is don't give up, even though I know right now the current situation with you being locked at home is stopping you from doing a lot of things. Don't give up and study hard, because it'll be all worth it. I swear to you, you'll feel the best success ever when you get those straight A+ or straight A's.
Okay. Anyone else? No?
So like, I think as a last advice for all of you, I would like to ask you all to take your previous exams, like your trials or your Form 4 exams, as like a motivation or a lesson for you to learn and be better for your SPM. It's like, I'm pretty sure now you're all like cooped up at home, you have nothing to do. I think what you can do now is you back all your old test papers or all the test papers that you have done where you have done like mistakes and everything, and you go through them again and you do a post-mortem and you review what you have where you went wrong and what you can do better during this period of time since you're stuck at home. And if you have like any questions, you can always like message your teachers or message your seniors or message your friends, because like now nobody cannot like not respond to you because they're all stuck at home as well. So with that, I like to say like study smart, make sure you know what you're doing, plan ahead, and don't waste this time that you have right now. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Hannah?
Okay, so thank you all for joining this session. My last few words, they'll be in 3 parts. So first of all, again, be sincere in studying. Do it because you want to. And number 2, for someone who used to see that 10 plus was such a big dream, just remember, keep going on. Anything is possible, and that you are what you think you are. That whatever you do will define what you will get. And lastly, do it for the people you love, your teachers, your friends who wake you up in class so you don't sleep, your parents especially. And I guess one last tip is that I still remember last year during SPM season, every time I walked into the hall, salaming my teachers, I'll say to them, this A+ is for you. It doesn't have to be after. The before is also what matters, and everything matters. So good luck to all of you. Thank you again.
All right. Luqman?
Okay, so to end on my part, truth is, a lot of people say SPM is easy. Some of it say it's hard, but I would say it's none. SPM is just another exam, and how well you face it is based on how much you prepare. All right? If you listen to all the tips all of us gave, and you use it like actually in detail, you might come off as like a nerd or a studious person. Pergi dewan makan, baca notes, on the way to prep, I read my sejarah textbook. But the truth is, success is never something easy. It's just there. If you want to go for it, then you should go for it. All right? And this might seem out of the topic, but to those out there, regardless of your SPM results or how well or how bad you have done in the past, SPM is not everything. It is just a phase of your life. And like everything, you must go through it. Whether you like it or not, you must go through it. So just make sure you go through this phase of life as well as you want it to go, because it'll always be embedded in your memories. And lastly, remember to have fun in everything you do.
All right. Okay, maybe from me, before we end everything, is thank you again to all of you who have stayed tuned for like 1 hour, 30 minutes, again, listening to us talk. It's such a pleasure to be able to share and contribute back to our juniors. And for me personally, I want to say good luck to all of you, be it if you're taking SPM, IGCSE, whatsoever. My advice to you is never stop learning. Like even after SPM, us included, jangan mereput je after. Until you guys mati, you guys will keep learning. And be humble. If you guys are already good at academics, that's great. However, if you aren't, it doesn't matter. So always be humble to ask questions. Never be afraid to ask or want to give out your opinion or, you know, want to share something, learn from other people. So yeah, be humble. Always know that learning is eternal. About motivation, remember that you are your own motivation. It doesn't matter what other people think of you, it's what you yourself think of you. You know, some people can say a lot of things about me, but I think that I'm an amazing person. So that drives me. Oh, thank you. That drives me. So you guys should find your own motivation. Yeah, but most preferably, your motivation should be yourself. Okay. So again, before we end, make sure to follow Notice Space on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. If you guys have any questions, you guys can DM us. Me and Luqman have blogs. If you guys want to subscribe, whatever. I'll be posting some stuff about study tips as well. I bet all my other friends will be willingly wanting to help you guys if you guys have any questions. So guys, flash your Instagram. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, so
Terbalik. Mine's terbalik, but okay.
if you guys have any questions, we're so okay with you guys asking. Okay? So that's all. If you guys want more, DM any of us. Right? So good luck. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Stay safe.
Stay at home.